trauma is beyond the help of the 12 steps. It needs its own help, and help for trauma is the answer. My sponsor, as wonderful as she was, she had no idea what to do with me. She didn't know anything about, the memories that I was experiencing and how powerful it will be to add this trauma work to the 12-step work. So for me, I put down the food and then I put down the alcohol, and everybody told me it was going to get better. Things are supposed to get better when you stop using, but it didn't get better for me. It got so much worse because then I was dealing with memories that I wasn't sure about, feelings that I was terrified of. What we've been keeping down with the food and the alcohol and the gambling and the sex and the drugs comes right up when we put it down. I remembered that I was molested when I was 3. So I've struggled with trauma for the last 25 years. I had a great trauma therapist that I really trusted, and she was nuanced and she was safe, and I wasn't getting better. And I had a friend call me and say, sister wasn't going to work, wasn't caring for her children, was afraid of her husband, and she did Help for Trauma, and she got better. Then I saw Help for Trauma's link, their website, and on Help for Trauma, it said that trauma's not hard. Trauma can be treated. And I was so intrigued because everybody told me trauma was hard. I had to talk to the people who said that trauma wasn't hard and that trauma could be treated. But I was still scared. I was mostly scared that it would hurt, that doing the trauma would re-traumatize me, would re-trigger me, that I wouldn't be okay. My clinician was so highly qualified and so highly trained. That reassured me, but I was still scared. So I go to bed that night and I'm in bed. I have 3 children. And I thought to myself, if one of my kids had experienced trauma, I would find the money for them. And so I was like in bed, like, oh my God, am I as important as my children? Like, is my trauma as important as their trauma would be? And I called up the next morning and signed up, never looked back. There was no time that I was ever like uncomfortable or like, yikes, what have I gotten myself into? I was grounded the whole time. And so what we did was go through the trauma response, and I just simply drew pictures. I am the world's worst artist, but it was exactly what I needed, and it did the job. And for the first time in my life, excuse me if I start crying, the trauma was over. It was done. I've never been able to say that before with all the work that I've done.